Hey everyone, this is DeArmond, the creator of ChartLogic. Welcome to ChartLogic 203 Threads. In this lesson, we're going under the hood of ChartLogic to see how it creates instances of strategies to trade specific symbols depending on the condition types in the strategies. We need to look at this because it can affect how our strategies are run when we activate them. If you're ready to get logical, then let's get started. Here's where we are in the ChartLogic course. This is the last topic in this section of the course, and the last topic we need to cover before we get into the advanced topics of trading, including testing and running strategies. Our story begins with the top-level object that we've been working with, the strategy. I've mentioned that the strategy is the place where you can select the symbols that the strategy is designed to work with, but up until now we've been using the default setting, which means that the strategy is designed to run on only one symbol for whatever chart that ChartLogic is running on when the strategy is activated. In the strategy dialog, if you click the Pick button on the symbols row, then it opens a menu where you can select different sources for the symbols. Majors would run the strategy on the 6 USD crosses. Market Watch runs the strategy on all of the symbols in your Market Watch at the moment the strategy is activated. List uses the list of pre-configured symbols that you can set in the ChartLogic inputs. And as we've seen, chart means just run it on one chart, the chart where we're currently running on. As you must be getting used to by now, though, there are details. Let's look at the strategy in terms of the objects that it contains. We know that a strategy contains logic sets, and those logic sets contain conditions. There are different types of conditions depending upon how the condition is designed to work. A fixed condition means that the condition is hardwired to work with one symbol at a time because of the way it's configured. The only condition that is always fixed is the price condition. When you configure the price condition, you select a price on a chart and you're waiting for price to move above or below that price. It only makes sense in the context of the chart where you configured the condition. It is fixed to that symbol. A mixed condition is getting some data about a symbol, but there's nothing about the definition of the condition that ties it to a specific symbol. That is, it can wait until it's running before getting paired with a symbol, and it will get its data for that symbol correctly when it's running, whatever the symbol happens to be. Most of the other types of the conditions are mixed. There is one exception though. A trade condition is usually mixed, but there's an option to set the symbol as well, and if you only want this trade condition to apply to a given symbol. In that case, this trade condition becomes fixed. The last type is the unpaired condition. There's only one unpaired condition type, and that's the account condition. This condition is not getting data about any symbol, so the selection of the symbol doesn't matter even when the strategy is running. Okay, so how does this condition type affect the running of our strategies? When we activate a strategy, what we're doing is we're creating a complete copy of the strategy for each symbol that it's designed to work with. At that moment, we are attaching the symbol to the strategy. This is how a strategy can keep track of different data for different symbols without getting confused. I described this as a sandbox in a previous video. This is how the sandboxing works. We have to look at the condition types and decide how to handle them. If the logic set contains only unpaired conditions, then the logic set is also unpaired, and it can run in an unpaired thread. The logic set inherits its symbol type from the conditions, and the thread can run without a symbol. There can be a maximum of one unpaired thread per running strategy. All unpaired logic sets are added to the single unpaired thread. There doesn't have to be an unpaired thread. If there are no logic sets that contain only unpaired conditions, then the strategy will not run an unpaired thread at all. If the logic set contains only mixed or a combination of mixed and unpaired conditions, then the logic set becomes mixed. It will get added to whatever symbol the strategy is trying to activate. If the strategy is running for one symbol, then this mixed logic set will get added to the thread for that symbol. If the strategy is running for 28 pairs, then there will be 28 threads, one per symbol, and this mixed logic set will be added to each of the 28 threads. If the logic set contains even one fixed condition, though, then the entire logic set becomes fixed, even if it contains other mixed or unpaired conditions. The logic set inherits the symbol from the fixed condition, and it can only be added to the thread for this symbol. If the symbols don't match, then it's not added. If you put two fixed conditions into a single logic set and the conditions are fixed to different symbols, then the logic set is incoherent and it won't be able to run. It will never be activated. A warning message is printed to the log in this case if you try to activate this strategy. When you're adding conditions to your logic sets, you should always be aware that putting a fixed condition in your set is going to limit the symbols that the logic set is going to be able to run on. Chart logic won't bother running the logic set for a thread where it will never execute. And let's talk about the unpaired condition just a bit more. Let's say you have an account condition and it's configured to send you an alert or perform some other action when the condition evaluates as true. You might be getting notified when you've reached some balance or equity target, or a warning if you've reached a percentage of drawdown, and so on. If you put this unpaired account condition inside of a logic set where there is also a mixed condition and run it in a strategy that is configured to run on multiple symbols, then you will have multiple copies of this account condition running, one per symbol, and when the condition evaluates as true, you will receive multiple notifications for the same event, or the logic set will perform its actions multiple times. This is probably not what you want. So be more strategic about where you put your unpaired conditions. If you're just getting data that is being used by a mixed condition as part of its logic, then that can be in a mixed logic set because it's not acting alone. But if it is acting alone, then consider putting it in its own logic set so it will only perform its actions one time when it evaluates as true, especially if the strategy is running for multiple symbols. When you use the strategy viewer to view a running strategy, in this mode I call it the thread viewer. For instance, here I've got the ADR levels strategy running, and I have configured it to run with everything I have loaded in MarketWatch. When I activate the strategy, it creates 30 threads, which I can see here in the chart logic window. When the thread viewer is opened, if there is a thread for the current chart, then it is automatically selected. You can see which thread is being displayed here in the upper right-hand corner of the thread viewer window. All of the data being displayed in the viewer is specific to this thread, to AuDCAD in this case. All of the other threads are still running in the background. They're testing their conditions, they're running their actions, they're tracking their chart objects, and so on. It's just all happening in memory, so there's nothing to see. You can change the current thread that's being displayed by clicking the thread, which is a button that will expand to show you a list of all of the threads. The first item in the list is the strategy itself. If you select this, then you'll go back to the strategy viewer with no data being displayed. If you select any other item in the list, then you'll get the thread viewer displaying the data for that thread. So here we are on a chart with chart logic. I'm looking at an AuDCAD chart. And I have a strategy running that is designed to demonstrate the differences between the different condition types. So if we take a look, I have 3 different logic sets, and we're going to enable them one at a time. And the first thing, let's look at this. The strategy it's configured to run on only one symbol, whatever the current chart symbol is. So this is going to run either 1 or 2 threads, and in all of our cases, it's only going to run 1 thread. It'll just depend on what the chart is. So this first logic set is unpaired, and if we look at this, it only has one condition in it, and it is the unpaired condition. This is an account condition, and so this will run in an unpaired thread regardless of what chart I'm on. The next logic set in this strategy is mixed, and if we look at that, it has the unpaired condition, but now I've added a mixed condition, which is the key level condition, and because of this, the logic set itself becomes mixed, and so the logic set will run on whatever chart is active at whatever chart I'm on at the moment I activate that logic set. And then for this last one, this fixed logic set, I have the unpaired condition, but now I have added a fixed condition, and this is a price condition which is fixed to AuDCAD. And if we look at that, then this is testing to see when does price get below this target on AuDCAD, and you can see that it's fixed to AuDCAD. So what I want to do is activate this first logic set. So enable, I've just enabled this first logic set, which is only unpaired, and we're going to activate it and see what happens. Okay, so now this strategy has one thread running running, which I can see here in the list. And if I open that up in my list of threads, I can see that this one is unpaired. So the unpaired thread got selected. And if I expand that, there's only two available entries. There's the strategy itself, and then there is this unpaired thread, and it's my unpaired logic set. Let's turn that off, and then let's enable the mixed logic set. So we've got one thread running, and if we open the thread viewer, I can see that this thread is for odd-cad, and there's only one thread plus the strategy, and so this is a mixed logic set running on this one chart. Deactivate that, and then let's go to the third one. This is fixed, and if I were to activate this fixed strategy, I get one thread, and when I view that, we have one thread, and it is odd-cad, and that's the chart that I'm on. So what happens if I change charts? So we're on odd-cad. Let's hop over to odd-yen. And let's start by looking at the mixed logic set. So we've enabled the mixed set, and I'm going to start it. And I've got one thread, and if I view the viewer, then we are on a thread for odd yen. And we're on odd yen because that is the symbol that was on the chart at the moment I activated the strategy. So it said, I don't care what chart I'm on, I'm just going to take whatever the chart is, and that's what a mixed set does. And so we're running a thread on this symbol. Let's see, if I enable the fixed thread, and so remember, the fixed thread is fixed to odd-cad. So we're going to enable the fixed thread and then run this. And what happens is I get no threads. No threads were able to activate because it had a fixed condition and it was fixed to a different symbol, and I'm not on that symbol, so it's not able to do anything. So you get nothing. And there's no there's no choices. There's no threads, so you don't get to, there's no selection because there's only one thing to see, and it's the thing that you're already seeing. All right, that is how the condition types affect the logic set types and what happens when you activate strategies. This is the end of Chart Logic 203. Threads. With the next lesson, we are going to start to get into the advanced section of the Chart Logic course, and we're going to start looking at trading. Thank you for watching. Chart Logic is available in the MQL5 market. If you liked this video, please give it a like to let me know that this is the kind of content you're interested in. And if you're so inclined, you can subscribe and click the notification icon to be notified when I post new videos. Leave a comment below to let me know if I made any mistakes or if there are any features you would like to see in future versions.